All right, welcome, colleague. Pull up a chair, get comfortable. Today, in this explainer, we're diving into a really fascinating, well, let's call it an investigative microanalysis of a highly peculiar digital artifact. As researchers, we're totally used to crunching massive data sets, wrestling with complex equations, and probing the fundamental laws of the universe, right? But today, we're going to take that exact same rigorous analytical lens and point it at a digital anomaly from a channel called Bias Edification. And let me tell you, it is frankly baffling.
So before we even look at the data, I've got a theoretical question for you. What actually makes educational content, specifically physics content, take off and, achieve mass velocity online? I mean, is it a stunning visual representation of quantum mechanics? Or maybe a super clear, elegant breakdown of general relativity that finally makes it click for the layperson? This perfectly illustrates our baseline expectation. When we see something tagged as hard science, we expect structural rigor. We expect a substantial payload of knowledge to justify our attention.
Now, consider the source of our data today, via edification. The nomenclature they've chosen here, it's highly significant. Edification literally implies moral or intellectual instruction. It's intentionally setting this distinctly scholarly, serious, and authoritative tone. As a fellow educator, hearing that name immediately primes your brain for a structured lecture. You're bracing for, I don't know, a deep dive into thermodynamics or electromagnetism. The framing here is absolutely everything. It's promising a profound transfer of knowledge.
And then we look at the metadata. Just look at the staggering density attached to this upload. It is an aggressive list of tags. Physics, physics concept, physics facts. It actually repeats shorts twice just to make absolutely sure the algorithm catches it. And then we hit viral, trending, viral shorts. The ambition here is mathematically staggering. They are casting this massive algorithmic net, clearly trying to dominate the physics niche and perfectly hijack the attention economy. Based on this dense metadata alone, we are bracing for a definitive, highly engaging physical truth.
But then, my colleague, we reach the core of the sample. The actual transcribed payload of this highly optimized broadcast. The entire transcript consists of exactly 3 words: face, she, with. Yes, let that sink in for a second. That is the entirety of the captured data. Face, she, with. There is no equation, there is zero concept. It's just a completely sparse, linguistically fractured string of words. The jarring reality of what was actually captured here completely defies all the parameters set by that initial metadata. The delta between these two variables is just absurd. On one side of the equation, we have our hypothesis, VYAS edification, surrounded by this heavy, robust cloud of physics and viral metadata. It implies incredible magnitude and momentum. But on the other side, the observed result, face she with. It's literally the scholarly equivalent of firing up the Large Hadron Collider, expecting to observe the collision of subatomic particles, and instead watching a single piece of confetti drift out of the machine. It highlights this fascinating, hilarious disconnect between the intended academic scope and the fragmented reality.
This whole anomaly forces us to step back and evaluate what's really going on here. What we're observing is the fragmented reality of short-form digital content. In this specific ecosystem, the structural support, the metadata, the tags, the authoritative channel name that is doing absolutely all of the heavy lifting. The transcript itself is essentially a statistical outlier that provides zero actual mass or substance to the equation. It's a phenomenon where the packaging of the science has completely superseded the science itself. The container is massive, but the contents are virtually non-existent.
Which brings us to our final conclusion, and honestly, a highly provocative question for you to take back to the lab. Are algorithms indexing substance or just the tags? When a machine reads physics fun and physics concepts, but the physical reality is just the phrase, face she with, what exactly is being valued and propagated in our digital universe? It really challenges us to consider that growing gap between how digital content is categorized and the actual reality of what exists inside it. It's a fascinating quirk of the modern digital physics we all navigate daily. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, colleague. Keep observing out there.